President Biden today at a brisk pace, avoiding the press as he got back to the White House from his annual physical at Walter Reed Hospital. As if to make the point, I'm 80, but still have it. We've heard him say that before. The White House continues, though, to refuse. They refuse to make his doctors available to the press, a departure from the Trump administration. And in what can hardly be called a coincidence, Politico, on the morning of his physical, dropped a massive piece on the president saying, quote, senior Democrats' private take on Biden, he's too old. It's written by New York Times bestselling author and Politico scribe Jonathan Martin. Quote, they worry a lot about an 82-year-old nominee, but fear the battle over Kamala Harris that would ensue if he pulls out. Kurt Bardella is here, Democratic strategist. Scott Tranter, head of data science for our partners at Decision Desk HQ. Gentlemen, it is good to see both of you. Kurt, according to Dr. O'Connor, the president's doctor, he is healthy and vigorous. Why don't Democrats trust the doctors?
I don't think that's the case. I think that at the end of the day, most people in the Democratic Party know Joe Biden's going to be the nominee. He's going to run for re-election, and most Democrats are lining up behind him and enthusiastic about that, especially after a year in which he has so much to run and such a record of accomplishment. So I don't think that this is an issue outside of just inside baseball, political, D.C., Capitol Hill-based publications looking for narratives. That's the only place that this conversation is actually really playing out.
Look, to be fair, Jonathan Martin is one of the best writers out there, one of the best source reporters on Capitol Hill. He's got Democratic congressmen on the record saying Biden shouldn't run again for this issue. I want to get to Scott. Poll, are you worried about President Biden's mental health? 64% very somewhat concerned, only 30% not very, not at all concerned. How do we square that of giving somebody the nuclear codes and still being concerned about his mental health?
Well, as you know, I'm not a doctor, but I do read polls. And when you get numbers like that, that is a bipartisan worry about his health. And those are numbers we saw in 2016 around Hillary Clinton. Those are numbers that we saw in 2020 around President Trump. So this health narrative in the polling is something that we've seen in the last two presidential elections. And I think we're going to see it played out in this presidential election as well.
Yeah, certainly this is going to be a big issue. Ronnie Jackson, the former president's doctor, who was famous for being in the White House briefing room and saying this. Take a listen.
It's called genetics. I don't know. It's some people have, just great genes. I told the president that if he had a healthier diet over the last 20 years, he might live to be 200 years old. I don't know.
Jackson just tweeted out, remember when the media went ballistic wanting Trump to have a cognitive exam? Where are they today with Biden? It's silence. Kurt, to you, why is it okay? And by the way, it was right to be questioning Donald Trump's health. Based on some of the situations. Why was that okay? And the media seems to give President Biden such a pass on it.
Well, one, Donald Trump lives his life eating McDonald's cheeseburgers every day. Number two, Joe Biden, someone who exercises 5 times a week, is in great health and has shown no signs at all that there's anything there to worry about. Donald Trump's a guy who, that when he talks, makes up words like covfefe and can't manage to walk down a ramp in a public speech. So I think that those are two different distinctions there. And also, I got to say this. If we're going to have a conversation about mental health and acuity, then I would like every single Republican who can't accept common sense, basic facts like who won the actual election, maybe they should be the ones that should be getting a little mental health exam.
We all know those.
Because what I care more about when you're president of the United States is your ability to have judgment, your ability to make decisions, your ability to interpret facts.
We all know those are different things. Come on, we all know those are different things. They are, really. Like, if you want to have a serious conversation, your first point was funny, your second point didn't make sense. Okay, we got to move on. Kurt, we're moving on.
The president of the United States is supposed to interpret information and make decisions. Shoot down balloons, listen to your generals, listen to your facts. If the people right now that we're talking about the Republican Party can't even do that, why should we even listen to anything they have to say? Because they won't accept the fact that President Biden won the election. They're out there living conspiracy theory land. They're mentally not there.
Okay, so somehow we managed to get back to 2020, which I perennially try to avoid.
The Republicans who won't let go of 2020, man.
We're going to move on. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.